Alright, so welcome back to the channel, guys. Today, guys, it is me, 80s Hertz, guys. I'm going to give you guys my match review of USA 1, Jamaica 0. Now, this was a great game, guys. This was a great quality game. And the thing about this game was that it was such a big test for the US. And once again, guys, I want to reiterate here that I got my predictions spot on my analysis. I said in my preview that I said we would 1-0 and then Matthew Hoppe would score the goal. The only thing I was wrong with is that I thought we would score an early goal, but we actually ended up scoring a late goal. So anyhow, what a win this is for the United States men's national team. I do have some notes I did write down in my here, and I tend to leave notes down for the games, so it's a lot easier for me to remember, because when I do the match reviews, I tend to sometimes forget, and so it's always good to do that. So always good to have some information alongside with you. So let me go ahead and get that real quickly. All right. And so, as I said before, guys, I wasn't able to take, I'm pretty sure I didn't account for every single big moment in the game. So there are any moments in the game that I did forget to mention, please let me know in the comments section below. There probably is, and I forgot. Anyhow, though, we will still discuss. And today, guys, I want to discuss about the notable players. And so I'm going to do things a little differently. We're going to start with the players that stood out to me very, very, very good. And then we'll talk about the big moments in the game. So I'm not going to talk about every single player. That's going to take too much time. So rather we're going to do is talk about the players that stand out the most, and either the positive aspect or the negative aspect. Okay, I think for me, Matt Turner on the day was really good. He made a really good save, I believe, on Josh Fleming's, if I'm not mistaken. It was a really big save from him. And overall, he was very, very big and very huge for us in the game. That he was one of the reasons why we were able to keep a clean sheet. I think for me, Robinson really had a good game. I remember there was one big tackle he made on a Jamaica player. I completely forgot who the Jamaica player was, and he made a big, strong tackle in this sense that if he didn't make that tackle, Jamaica might have scored. I think Acosta had a really good game. I was really, really happy with Acosta. Acosta was actually doing very, very well. I really liked his game, and obviously Matthew Hoppe. I think Matthew Hoppe had a really good game. Obviously scored the game-winning goal and was coming up big and during the second half, especially forcing some big saves out of Andre Blake. And so those were the three players that stood out to me the most. The rest were fairly either good or average, in my opinion. There wasn't really anyone that was particularly bad. And then some players off the bench I think were crucial. I think Christian Roldan also had a good game coming off the bench, and I think Zardes also had an okay game. I think he also had a decent game. These two players I wouldn't say were amazing. However, they did help us a bit in the second half. So to basically summarize the first half, the first half was a very even game. First half was very even. The U.S. had a hard time breaking down Jamaica. A lot of the play that the U.S. did was coming from the center backs, and the center backs tried to do a long ball to the U.S. Not the U.S. The forwards for the U.S. And we really get to see the midfield really click. And the first half, there was a big chance for Shaq Moore. I think Shaq Moore actually had the first a big opportunity, and I think Acosta was the one that actually delivered the cross into the box, and Shaq Moore just couldn't get on the end of it. And obviously, I talked about Fleming's already had that shot. And then I believe Reed also had a really good chance to open the scoring. And then there was a huge save from Andre Blake. He made a brilliant save on the near post. I believe it was Matthew Hoppe, and he wasn't able to get to that. And then as the first half ended, it was 0-0. I'm thinking to myself, okay, interesting. And I like how Greg Welcher did this lineup, because this lineup for me for the U.S. was very good. I think this is about the best lineup that we could have possibly asked for the U.S. And then maybe with the exception of maybe Leggett, I would have put maybe Williamson on. However, I do believe this is a good lineup, and you can see right here, Greg Welch is finally starting to get things right. And then the second half, obviously, I talk about the Robinson, great tackle. And we're going to give a lot of credit to Greg Welch in particular for actually making those two substitutions of bringing up DK and Ariello, because both of which players I didn't think really had a good game. They had a very average game. Didn't really get involved with the game too much. And I think bringing on Zardes and Roldan is interesting, because generally in the past, I've noticed that Greg Berhalter, when he comes to substitutions, generally most of the time, the substitutions are very much obsolete, doesn't really make a difference, is very meaningless, very ineffective. And now all of a sudden, he's finally starting to figure out how to get the best out of this team. And I feel like now the substitutions are more on point. And I feel like it's now become more cohesive. So I give a lot of credit to Greg Welcher for someone who has been given a lot of criticism for the lineups he selected. And I feel like for me, Greg Welcher is still a manager that I'm getting more trust with. I'm having more confidence with Greg Welcher. I think he's starting to finally get things figured out, and it's taken a while for it to happen. And obviously, Zardes had a really good chance to open the scoring. It was another big save from Andre Blake. And Andre Blake was definitely by far Jamaica's best player in the game. I was really, really impressed with Andre Blake overall. There weren't big penalty appeals. There was a lot of penalty appeals. Some would say some people was taken down inside the box, all of that. I'm not gonna get too much into it because I didn't really see all the claims. However, there were potential shouts that could happen. I think the one I did see was Matthew Hoppe was taken down inside the box. Obviously, nothing happened. And then Nicholson, I believe, had a really good chance to open the scoring for the U.S. I think it was, I'm not U.S., Jamaica. I'm sorry. Jamaica had a free kick, and I believe Jamaica even hit the bar. And then finally, in this great 5-minute play, this was a great assist from Christian Roldan that disrupted the Jamaica back line, and it came to Zardes. And I think basically Hoppe was in the right spot at the right time, and he headed it in. And the Jamaican defense was all over the place, and that was a huge thing. And then Vines obviously had a really great block on, I believe, on the very end of the 90 minutes of stoppage time, where I believe Andre Blake was going to try to equalize for Jamaica, get that to force extra time, and obviously I think he had a little collision that his head was bleeding. I think something like that I saw. And yeah, guys. So overall, it was a very interesting game. So, some key things to take away from this game is that the U.S. struggles to score an open play. And I said this before, guys, the open play, guys, is very difficult for us to score. And I think if we're going to win the Gold Cup, guys, we're going to probably win by 1-0. We're going to probably 1-0 our way to the final. And that's just how it's going to be. And I feel like for me, this attack of ours is just the biggest issue. Because I feel like for me, DK and Zardes, I feel like we have to, I feel like the striker position is the most worrying position of this team. And I feel like everything else is spot because I feel like the defense for us today was really good. I think Robinson had a really good game. I think Sands actually had a decent game as well. And I'm not really worried about the defensive aspect. It's just the attacking aspect I'm really worried about because I feel like we don't really have anyone up front, especially in the number 9 position, that could be the goal scorer that we need. So that's very worrying indeed. So let's see how Greg Welcher does because against Qatar, guys, we're going to be playing against a very counter-attacking team. And Qatar is very, very effective. I like to play the 5-3-2, and that if we're going to score against it, we're going to have to be much more decisive in the end. As well as a lot of the chances Jamaica had in this game were basically through U.S. giving up possession, USA losing the ball, and the counterattack. Jamaica were basically doing the counterattacks. And it seems like to me, whenever Jamaica got into the final third, they seem to lose their heads. They seem to not know what they're doing, and they seem to completely lose concentration. It's almost as if they could get everything right except the final third. And the final third, where inside the box, they just make these dumb decisions. And I'm like, come on, man, Jamaica, man, are you kidding me, man? And this is kind of sad to say for Jamaica, because Jamaica for me is a very good nation, and that they have got beaten by a USA C team, not even a B team, I would even say. And it's a very much MLS based team, and they still managed to lose. And I don't understand why Whitmore didn't even put Leon Bailey on. Is Leon Bailey even injured? I don't know if he is injured, and it seems like he is. I don't even know, honestly. And yeah, man, overall, man, Jamaica, man, they'll feel hard done by. I think they definitely did play well. I think, however, I do believe the U.S. did deserve to go through. I think for me, Jamaica, their best player was definitely hands down Andre Blake. And that's about it. I didn't really think anyone else from Jamaica was really that great. Then honestly, I think Fleming's had an okay game. Reed, I think, had an okay game. But all honesty, man, I just think that for Jamaica in particular, when they get into the final third, they just seem to not know what they're doing. And yeah, guys, so there's that for today. So that's pretty much my post-match review. As you can see, let's go and look at the stats real quick before we close off. As you can see right here, USA had 11 shots, 5 on target. Jamaica had 9 shots, 5 on target. 68% possession for US, 32% for Jamaica, 579 passes. And you can see the gasping quality. And the pass actually, which I think is interesting. They actually committed more fouls. Jamaica actually got more yellow cards. Obviously, Jamaica had more offsides, and the corners were about the same. So, guys, we'll be facing Qatar on Thursday in the semifinals and for a place on the final. And the other side will be Mexico versus Canada. So I'll give you guys those predictions very, very soon indeed. Stay tuned for that, guys. And I do hope you guys enjoy that. So remember, guys, to comment and subscribe. Check out my description below for my Twitter, Discord, and my email. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out.